I did a thing on some knives that I use. And one of them that I talked about was the old timer, or old hickory, old timer. No, old hickory, I think is what it was. And I showed this one right here. And this is one that I've actually cut down. It was about this size when I got it. Wasn't quite as tall, but it was pretty close. This one I bought off Amazon, maybe $12 shipped. Very, very cheap. I think that this is an exceptional knife to start out with bushcraft. I don't do any batoning. I still don't after all the years of being in the woods. I just don't see a need for it. I've never had to do it. So I've never needed the real thick blades. But these knives right here are good to get if you want something to start with. The way it dips up right here, you've got a lot of room to where you can change the profile of it if you'd like. You know, modify it and make it yours. Out of the box, it comes okay sharp. It needs just a little bit of work on it. Probably doesn't even need the heavy side of the stone. Sharpening, you just have to get a feel for it. Cut my wrist sharpening knives. That's a good one there. That's one thing that, it's one thing that I don't see a lot of people posting their faults. I'm 38 years old. I have been sharpening knives since I was probably 6 or 8. I would say probably 6 or 8 when I got my first knife and I sharpened it. I've cut myself. It doesn't happen very often, but I have cut myself. And, sitting out here, it's a nice quiet day, just sharpening, not really paying attention, kind of watching the dogs, be sure they don't wander off, and just nick myself. You really need to pay attention when you're doing this stuff, even if you're very experienced. I don't think I like these round stones. I bought this off eBay. It's used. I actually thought it was bigger than this when I bought it, but I was shockingly surprised when this came in the mail and it was this small. So I was hoping it was going to be like one of the Lansky's big stones, but I like I don't even know the terminology of them to even tell you what I like. I like natural stones. I like them a lot. I like maybe the sandier grit. But like I said, I don't even know the terminology of them to even tell you what I like. I don't know if you can pick up the sound difference when I flip sides. This blade is rough. If I'm not mistaken, I profiled it with a sander. And when you're sharpening, it puts I guess an edge, a burr on it, because you're actually rolling the metal over the knife edge. And you can, when you're sharpening, you can feel it. You can feel it dragging. You can tell by the sound of it too. I guess it's moving and reshaping the metal, and you can feel it and you can hear it when that side's done. And that's usually when I flip sides. Most stones have a coarse and a fine. Most coarse I never use. I've actually got a bunch of stones that were my father's that have been split. And I'm assuming that they're natural, or the epoxy has broke down on it and allowed them to do that. I've tried to split like store-bought stones now and usually end up breaking them. They're real hard to split between the coarse. You know, that way I don't have to carry, which this knife right here is separating. The coarse is obviously this bigger section, and this shorter section is the fine. And I'll, prefer to only use the fine. It seems like the cheap stones are, they'll work. You can actually sharpen on the side of a brick if that's all you've got. Some smooth bricks are smooth enough to sharpen on. One place to look is eBay. You can buy like a stone lot, and you can find all kinds of stones in it. What I'll do is I'll buy the lots, and there'll be 3 or 4 stones that I like, that feel good when I'm sharpening, and the rest I'll either give away or resell. A lot of traffic out here today. But there are my old hickory knives. Obviously, based on the cut in my hand, this one is good and sharp and ready to use. They do come with a 90-degree spine, so they are able to strike a ferrocerium rod. This one was my grandfather's. It's fairly sharp from being in storage for years and years. I actually keep this one out to skin with. I have not skinned anything with it, but I am waiting for the next either roadkill deer I find or coyote I find out here harassing cattle. Shoot them and shoot it and get that skinned up. But I think some people overlook these and miss out on really spectacular knives.